The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, The Green Law Firm, personal injury attorney, Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies, Moe's Pizza, Lance's AC and Heating, CC's Children Blocks, The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana, Drums.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy. Glad to have you all with us. We got a big show for y'all tonight. At 7:30, we're going to have the head coach of UNO baseball, Coach Dax Norris, as UNO is competing for a Southland Conference Tournament Championship to go to the NCAA College World Series. They're taking on Houston Christian Best of Three Series. At 8:05, we will have the head coach of the Loyola Wolfpack baseball team, Coach Jeremy Kennedy, as his team has made the NAIA World Series of Baseball. And then at 8:35, Coach Brad Neffendorf, the head coach of the LSU Shreveport Pilots, will join us. An undefeated 54-0 team. They're also in the NAIA World Series. So we got a big show for you all. Three big time guests. Before we get going, I got the one and only George Peppers. What's up, GP?
What's up, JB, VK? How y'all doing? It is exciting times on the diamond here this week in the state of Louisiana. You know, they leave tomorrow to go to Houston and Loyola. I don't know when their World Series starts in Shreveport, and LSU Shreveport. Man, I'll tell you, I can't wait for all three coaches, but especially LSU Shreveport because I've never seen a baseball team at any level go undefeated.
Right.
Major league, obviously, it never happens in majors, and even in college, you've had great collegiate teams, but to go perfecto every year, a baseball team swoons at some point. Not the pilots. Them dudes
Mm-hmm.
are silly good this year, and man, this is gonna be fun times. And got to give credit to VK for making this happen and everything these interviews to get them on. And this is gonna be one of our bigger shows in advance of conference champions.
And got the one and only VK Jones. What's up, VK?
What's going on, man? I hope you recover a little bit and understand you're going through a little something, but I hope you be okay.
I'm making it.
Like, tag, share, subscribe to all social medias for the Hash It Out Show. Jared's gonna put the website for the Hash It Out Show itself to log on to all our content and all our good stuff and everything. This is a big show tonight. We put a big effort, me, George, and Jared, especially Jared, trying to, set everything up for tonight. And this is a huge week in baseball. Indeed, the NAIA World Series does start Friday, and both teams have a travel day today. So I think hopefully Loyola's in safely. What I heard that they had a little delay in one of their flights,
Uh-oh.
so hopefully they're okay. So Coach Kennedy will try and join us. He will do what he can to join us. He's going to cut it close. But Coach Nievendorf, I hope everything went on time with him, and he's looking forward to joining us. But all three programs this is a huge week, and then conference tournament starts in the NCAA's this weekend. So it full season about to get down and dirty, if you know what I mean.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Let's get right into it, man. So big things have been happening in the sports world, and stuff happens in the sports world. But we had the opening of the WNBA this past weekend, and what happened
What are
in
you
one of the
talking?
games?
I knew it.
You knew it, right? We got an
I
Angel
knew it.
Clark. Angel, look, I put Angel
Angel
Clark.
Reese.
Let me go correct that. We had an Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark situation again. And I love it. I love it. I want this to be a big time rivalry between these two. I really do. I mean, they're the two of the up and coming stars in the WNBA, and I want the rivalry. I do. I really do. I mean, you got Angel Wilson and her Las Vegas Aces against the New York Liberty. You can say that they're rivals and all that, but man, right here, come on now. Now let's dig right into it. Let's talk about what happened. What happened was Angel Reese pushed Caitlin Clark's teammate to get a rebound. And when Angel Reese got the rebound and went to go up to score, Caitlin Clark committed a hard foul. But what you didn't see from another angle, that Caitlin Clark, with her left hand, pushed the mess out of Angel Reese. And Angel Reese got up and was upset about it, tried to confront Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark just turned her back and walked away. I think Caitlin Clark was thinking like, this girl ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't worried about her. So, um, and then once again, there's always something coming out, and I get to another point later, but there's always some backlash on Angel and this and that. RG3 comes out and says that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And here's where I'll start. I don't think Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Does she like her or dislike her? I don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, I think RG3 using hate is a pretty strong word in my opinion. It's pretty strong. I don't think the girl hates her. Angel Reese is a trash talker. She's competitive. So is Caitlin Clark. It is what it is. And if they don't want to be friends, that's fine. That's fine. But I just don't want it to be where people are saying that, you know, Angel Reese is a villain, and she's not a villain. She's just a trash talker. Let's think about it. Michael Jordan had who? Who was Michael Jordan's nemesis? Isaiah Thomas, right? If you pick anybody, Isaiah Thomas, uh, you might as well say Michael Jordan hates Isaiah Thomas. You can say that more than Angel Reese and
Oh no
Caitlin
doubt.
Clark. But with that being said, I don't think Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I think Angel Reese wants to beat Caitlin Clark as in any way, shape, or form. I believe she doesn't like losing to her because Caitlin Clark, to me, is the Steph Curry of the WNBA. I think people need to watch their words when they say she hates, because I think that's a strong word to say that Angel Reese hates someone, and I don't believe it at all. If you could say, I think she dislikes, okay, cool. Say you think she dislikes her. Okay, I don't know, but I don't think she hates her. She's always giving Caitlin props when they played against each other every time, you know. And of course, Angel takes some props for her too. Like, yeah, I'm in that conversation too about the girls' game rising, of course. But I strongly disagree with RG3's statement, and I even put it under his post on Twitter that I strongly disagree with you saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. But George, your thoughts?
First off, to address the RG3 portion of this argument, it's irresponsible journalism on its part. To espouse that word is the sheer epitome of irresponsibility. I don't know if there's any detection of hatred. I do think there's animosity between the two.
Could be.
There were people suggesting that Angel Reese flopped
No,
on that play. No, she didn't. Watch it again. My TV plays just like yours, Mr. Boyd, and I saw exactly what you saw. Caitlin walking away, I was like, I can't win in a fight. So, and I don't think Angel was coming after her to fight her, but I think she was going to let her give her a piece of her mind. Now, mind you, for those that care, Indiana won 93-58. They beat the brakes off of Chicago.
Sure
They're
did.
just miles better at this juncture. Chicago's they've upgraded some talent, but they're not there yet.
They should have kept
So,
Kennedy Carter. To be
well,
honest,
that's true. I don't know where did she go, Kennedy Carter. I
they,
know she went.
no team signed her, and now she's in
That's
Mexico.
crazy. A
Yes,
physical specimen like that, yeah, someone who can eat up some boards and go in there and play hard nosed defense and ain't nobody signed her. That's another story for another day. But back
yeah,
to the centerpiece. You're following the second best. You're going after the second best player in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I said it because a healthy Paige Beckers is better. A healthy Paige Beckers is a more dominant player. That's another debate for
yep.
another day. And I know somebody on this panel is going to look at me and think, man, this boy's crazy. And it ain't you, it's the boy. I know it
I
ain't.
know.
So I don't see his mug down there, but it's all good. What happened Saturday, was it? The game? I think it was Saturday, right?
It was Saturday. Yes.
Okay. I was in the middle of watching, the coverage of the Preakness, and which I picked the winning horse, which everybody and their mama picked him. Uh, and I happened to turn back and see, and I was like, interesting. And I got to see the video replay, and I'm like, yeah, this looks like some WWE stuff going on right here, you know. And I'm like, okay. And Caitlyn just walking away like, oh, we lost VK. Caitlyn just walking
Right.
away and just like, whatever. And I'm like, they were never really gonna fight. And for anybody who was like encouraging that kind of behavior, stop it. Calm your nerves, cool your jets, chill. No, there is a healthy respect for each other's games.
Yeah.
That is a fact. You have heard Angel and Caitlin say it about each other. The rivalry was way more competitive in college than it is at the WNBA level because the
Yep.
Indiana Fever have made tremendous strides, made the playoffs last year after a miserable year before they got Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is facts. That is look up the numbers. Those are unbridled facts. Chicago is not there yet. Angels got to get a better supporting cast. Maybe they just need to gel and get together. But VK, to encourage the word hate, back to the first point I made, to encourage the word hate is the epitome of irresponsibility. And Robert Griffin, come on, man, do better. Do better because you're sitting there trying to create narratives that quite honestly don't exist.
On you, VK. Oh no, VK has no sound. No
Yeah, I know.
sound from
I don't
VK.
hear sound.
Oh man, VK. Log out, log back
Oh,
in, VK. Log out, log
yeah.
back in. But George, you make a good point on that because yes, they do respect each other games. That we know of. We know
That's
that.
facts.
Yeah, definitely fact. Let's see. We got VK back. Let's see if we can get him in to say something. All right, VK. Nope, no VK.
Nope.
Uh-uh. No
A
VK at
silent
all.
VK is a good VK I'm playing.
But you make good points. And look, every player ain't gotta like each other. It don't have to happen. You ain't gotta like a certain player. You don't have to. But as far as hate, nah,
That's too
I just,
strong.
I just, I just, I just don't think so. Let's get VK back.
Hello.
All right, VK, floor is yours.
Uh, well, I'm going to say this. You know what I'm saying? On, I'm not going to debate with George about this Caitlin Clark and Becker's thing.
Good.
That's a story for another day. And I
Chicken.
think there's a reason why Kennedy Carter is not on a WNBA roster either.
She should be.
That's another story in itself. There is a reason. Trust me. I wish she could be signed, but I ain't gonna lie. She kind of put some things on herself, man. I mean, there has been some bad stuff with her. But to the topic at hand, looking at it more than anything else, like RG3, yes, he was irresponsible for that. It shouldn't have been that kind of statement. But you should have heard what Ryan Clark said
We we
about
we
him
we
too.
getting there. We getting there. We getting
Oh,
there.
oh, 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 my bad.
We getting
I
there.
didn't know. I didn't know y'all were
I
gonna get
know.
there.
I know
Okay,
you didn't know. I know.
Jumping the gun. I
yeah,
don't know.
all right, my bad. But regardless of that, it was irresponsible for him and everything. But at the same time, looking at the whole picture, like, come on, man. Caitlyn got herself together in the weight room. Then on top of that, you look at it, and people not talking about it before then. Angel Reese kind of got into it with Aaliyah Boston on a half foul. Nobody talking about that. Maybe a little bit of get back on and a little bit on top of that.
Could be.
You look at that play. Who stepped in front to break it up? Aaliyah Boston. Now Caitlin's got protection in front of her. So plain and simple, it's a sign that Indiana is really coming together as a team more than anything else. So the biggest criticism I had last year, even with Aaliyah Boston, where's the protection for this girl? Where is it? Because yeah, she getting roughed up all over the place, but I guess they're trying to fill out now since she's been on the team for a year, and they feel like, yeah, we got her now. So that just been a huge change we noticed so far early this year. But this should not be about hate or not. This is a rivalry. This is a rivalry in itself, man.
That goes back to
And why
college.
not? Exactly. Why not? Why can't we keep it that way? Why we keep coming with these races? And to me, why this is a story. This is not really a story.
Well, I
To
think
me,
anything with Caitlin Clark and Reese, any altercation that they have is always going to be a story.
it's
It's
always
It
gonna spark
sells
something.
tickets.
But it
yeah.
do. But to me, as a sports fan, as a reporter, yeah, it might be a story. It's not a story to me. The story right now is the NBA playoffs and how we got new blood in the Final Four. That's
No,
the story, not this. And
I think
what this
Indiana made
is
it last
just
year.
so.
That's not new blood.
No, I'm talking about for the first time we don't have true dynasty stories.
Mm-mm.
We know Indiana made it last year. We know who
Yep.
else made it after four. Minnesota, but we
Yeah,
talking about
Minnesota,
teams
Dallas,
that usually don't
Boston.
get there.
he's talking about a
Right,
new team in the NBA championship. That's what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
right. New team.
All right. Back on track. All right, back on track. So we heard what RG3 said about Angel Reese
Caitlin.
and hating Caden Clark. Now
Yeah,
Ryan
but
Clark responded back to RG3 about that, and I, I scratched my head on what he said. And to see tweets that there are a lot of people who agree with what Ryan Clark said and saying that RG3 missed the whole point of what Ryan was trying to say. Let's slow this down right quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you an example. There's been many times me and VK have disagreed on stuff. There's been many times that George and VK have disagreed on stuff.
Even
But
you and me.
yeah, but way less than VK.
I know.
Yeah.
He's just different.
But you never saw me attack VK and his child. You never saw George attack VK and his child. You never saw that. You never saw any of that. So when Ryan Clark sat there and said that RG3 doesn't have these conversations because his wife is white and his kids are mixed. Whoa, slow it down, brother. Slow it down, brother. Let's slow that down. Because my question is, how do you know? How do you know? You been in that man's household? You talk to that man face to face about it?
Nope.
How do you know he's never had these conversations with his children and his wife? How do you know this?
He
I
don't.
really, it's the wrong assumption to make. And RG3 came back and said, man, don't attack. He attacked my family, attacked my kids. You don't do that. And I am with RG3 on that one. I am. That you can Ryan Clark can disagree with RG3's statement about hate of Angel Clark hating
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese hating Caitlin Clark. He can disagree
Right.
all he want with that, and that is fine. That is cool. I disagree with a lot of stuff with VK. That's why he can't win the picks. But anyway,
Oh shit! God damn!
but anyway, but anyway,
Taking them pot shots
so
already, buddy.
yeah, why would you bring that man's wife and family into this?
Because he's
Eh,
trying to create a stupid narrative, Jared. That's what he's doing.
I get it, but you know, I disagree. And look, I know Ryan Clark's family very well. His dad, his brother, and I'm not going to speak ill of Ryan Clark, not at all. But I can
No,
disagree. I can disagree respectfully with what he said. I can't, and that's what I'm doing. I think that was the wrong way to come out and sit there and chastise and disrespect that man's family. You don't know if that man ever had a talk with his wife about him being a black man and race and their children being biracial and the things they may go through. You do not know that. We don't know that. That is stuff inside that man's household. That's their business. You cannot assume that at all. And that's where I disagree with Ryan Clark. I'm cool with Ryan Clark disagreeing about RG3's statement saying Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I'm cool, but I disagree with Ryan attacking that man's wife and kids, George Peppers.
I mean there's another thing right there. Look, when you go after a man's family, your home is your sanctuary, right?
Yeah,
And people say home is where you hang your hat. Correct. That being said, why did Ryan Clark go that route? That to me was just reckless and silly. Come on, do better, do better, be better. We don't want to go creating falsehoods, narratives, and then you want to incorporate the fact that Robert Griffin III's wife is white and they've got mixed kids. So you're basically, in a nutshell, crapping on interracial marriage by saying that. That's what you're doing. Because you really made it a point to point out the fact that his wife is Caucasian and that he's African American. You really went out of your way. And look, Ryan Clark, I like you. I watched, I don't watch First Take much, and it's not by choice. It's because of my work schedule. Y'all know I work on days, and I don't get a chance to see the sports roundtables and all that stuff. And with that, why do journalists have to go and poke the bear? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Because you're going to create a firestorm by talking about the man's family. And it's not just his wife, it's his kids. Why are you doing that? Ryan Clark, you are one of the better up and comers
yes, sir.
in the sports media landscape.
Yes, sir.
To that, there is no doubt. I remember your start point when you tried to poke Stephen A. Smith. You learned your lesson, fell back, and recharged. You remember that when Stephen A went at him real hard years ago when Ryan just got his feet wet in the business. And when Ryan figured it out, he got humbled. Did he? Boy, did he get humbled. With the quickness, he got humbled. And then what happened? He slid back, he got some understanding, and he channeled his own energy and he channeled his own knowledge and know how and created a posture and created a way to deliver.
Yep.
That's what good broadcasters do.
Hmm.
In this case, though, when you go after a man's family, BK, I cannot be on board with that. I'm sorry. I don't care about the interracial aspect of it. To me, race is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just why do we always have to make point of emphasis and use racial connotations? I don't like it. Y'all know me well. You both have known me for years and gotten to know me very well. And I don't fly with that kind of stuff. I don't. I mean, at work, I deal with all that and I hear that. And, it's a different world, but it's the same thing. When people start bringing race into stuff, that's why I nip that in the bud. It's all about responsibility. And Ryan Clark, got to be better, man. Got to be better. You went after the man's family. I don't blame RG3 if he says, let's challenge you to a celebrity match or something crazy. Maybe we get a pay per view out of this. I don't know. Throw him on a WWE undercard. Just kidding when I say that. But VK, you've been a journalist, and we've been at this 19 years this year, 20 years. Now, well, 19 going on 20. All right. We came up together. But you've never heard me, and I've never heard you peep off and Papa Man's family. I make it a very, very, very direct thing not to do it. It's irresponsible. It's stupid. And VK, with that, the floor is yours.
I'm like this. I know Ryan for a long, long time personally, and to me, hearing that made me really cringe, and then on top of that, made me very, very disappointed. And I'm not going to be personal, taking shots or none of that.
Mm-mm.
Ryan Clark, if I was you, my friend, walk it back and walk it back now. What you just did is a no-no. And I'm not trying to put no religion. You're a man of God too. You know that ain't right. You know it ain't right to do that, to judge anybody. You want in a judgment seat on this man? Are you kidding me? An African American in this business. Dude, I love you to death. I'm always proud of you, of what you do. I'm proud of what you did. Remember a long time ago, we talked before about getting in this business. And look at you. You're doing
You're
unbelievable.
doing wonderful, bro.
You're doing great, dude. But bruh, as a man, as a person that we respect one another and know each other's families, my boy, please, bruh, walk it back, dog. That is not a good look on you, dude. That is not a good look. At the end of the day, we don't judge anybody. And at the same time, like, the real meaning a little bit about Martin Luther King's message about loving one another, whatever color or creed. I don't know if you ever thought about that. I think about that every day. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I will love black people. I love everybody black. But at the same time, we sometimes kill one another, and that's not good. Why can't we come together like everybody else, like any other race around here? We got to stop the madness, bro. Real talk, please, man. Walk it back for not just anybody's sake, but personally for your sake, my friend. You've been doing too well, dude. Walk it back.
That's my star brother, and I just disagree with that statement in regards to his wife and kids. It's okay to disagree, and we respectfully disagree,
Mhm.
and that's the only thing I think he should have done with RG3 instead of going into details and all that stuff, man. But man, we still want Ryan Clark on the Hash It Out show. We still want that.
You are invited, Ryan. We've
Uh,
been asking about you, bro. We want you to come on and hash it
Whenever
out.
Ryan
So,
ready, whenever
man,
he ready, man.
whenever you ready, come on through. I know you got things going on, but we want to
That's
be
a
on the
busy
pivot as
man,
well.
bro. That's a busy man with the pivot, ESPN, First Take, Get Up, NFL Live, and then he got the NFL show on the CW. Well,
Hey, hey, do this for
Ryan
me,
doing his
Joe.
thing, baby.
Put this on Instagram a little bit, man. Ryan Clark, 2 for 1, man. You come on the Hash It Out show. We'll do a little taping. We come on the pivot. 2 for 1, man. How about that? We all talk. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Shaw Eagle, the Purple Knight, Marrero, West Bank down. Let's do it, bro.
You forgot the Patriots, sir.
He sure
Well,
did forget the Patriots, bro.
that's why I said West Bank. West
Oh,
Bank,
okay.
period.
Yeah, but you named two
Uh,
schools. He
I
didn't
did
yeah,
name
you
name two.
named
I'm
two
talking about
schools,
John
and
Eric. I'm like this.
and
John Eric, Archbishop Shaw, St. Aug, West Bankers. Let's talk together, man. We doing our thing down here, man. I know you're doing your
well, let's
thing
get it.
nationally, but we're doing our thing down here, man.
Yep,
Then have us on the pivot. We'll have you on Hash It Out.
works for me.
I know that's right. I know that's right. We're waiting for Coach Dax Norris to hop on in and join us. We can get it going. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm making it for you all, my people. We making it. Um, I guess we talk about NBA playoffs while we wait for Coach Dax Norris to come on. There will be a new champion. It's the seventh straight year of a new champion, but man,
Yep,
we'll have some new stars in the NBA finals, man. We may have Shea Gilders Alexander. We may have Anthony Edwards. We may have Jalen Brunson, and we may have
Tyrese
Tyrese
Halliburton.
Halliburton. Yeah, exactly. So right now, GP, as we wait for Coach Dax Norris, you got in the finals.
Well, I mean, I think both series are going to be absolutely competitive. I think both series do go no less than six. I think both series have a chance to go the full seven. And for those of you that want to anoint Oklahoma City, I picked them before the playoffs to get out of the West. Not really a stretch because they were the favorite, but the fact that they hadn't been here in a long time. Last time they got here was
2016.
2013, 15. Yeah, they
2016.
16. They got here, but everybody don't sleep on that Minnesota team. They got here last year, and if not for an insane series by Luca, the Timberwolves very well could have got to the finals last year. I don't know if they would have beat the Celtics as they were constructed and healthy. Um, and for all of you want to crap on the Knicks, talking about Jay, your boy getting hurt. Oh, goddamn, I just lost his name. You know, uh,
Oh, Tatum.
Jason Tatum. Oh, if
Uh huh.
Tatum don't get hurt, the Celtics are a lock. No, they weren't. The Knicks won two games in Boston without him going off. Then they beat the brakes off of him in Game 3. Then New York eked out Game 4 late, and that's when Tatum went down. Then the Celtics went back crazy in Game 5, and then New York. I told my dad before Game 6, I said if the Knicks break tonight, this is a blowout. I knew it. I didn't think they'd win by 38. But I got New York in 6 because I'm definitely afraid of Indiana and saying that that is a legit entity. They have a championship coach in Rick Carlisle. They have a budding star in Tyrese Halliburton. Same thing with the Knicks and Jalen Brunson. But at the end of the day, I think the Knicks' physicality in that series gets it done in 6. And on the West, as much as I like Minnesota, and boy, do I mean, they have been very convincing in these first two rounds of the playoffs. But let's look again. They beat a Laker team that had no post game in 5. They beat a Golden State team with Jimmy Butler playing nowhere near his capabilities and Steph Curry being out. Not crapping on the T-Wolves, but they did what they were supposed to. But I saw Sunday's game against Denver, and that was murder in the first. I got Oklahoma City in 6 as well. Oklahoma City and New York in the finals is
All
what we're
right.
going to see.
Cool. VK, we're gonna make this quick because we do have Coach Dax in the lobby. We gotta do commercials. I'm gonna pick OKC and the Knicks. Knicks in 6, OKC in 7.
I'm gonna go with the two teams that was had the big trade. That's the Knicks and the Timberwolves. Knicks in 7 and the Timberwolves in 6.
All right.
Now, the crazy thing before you
Hold
go,
on, George.
JB.
We gotta go to
Oh,
commercial. When
all
we
right.
come back, the head coach of the UNO Privateers baseball team, Coach Dax Norris, will join us right here on the Hash It Out Show. Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504 301 8353.
Hey y'all, this is Jen Hale from Fox Sports. You're watching the Hash It Out Show with JB the Sports Guy, VK Jones, and George Pepis.
Did you experience storm damage from Hurricane Francine? Barretto Home Solutions can help. You can give them a call at 504 940 7552. And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy, joined with George Peppers. VK Jones will join us back in a second. Joining us right now, this guy's team was the eighth seed, and they won their side of the bracket last weekend, to be honest with you. They won the side of the bracket, and now they're in the Southland Conference Tournament Championship, and they're going to play a best of 3 series against Houston Christian. The winner gets an automatic bid to the NCAA College World Series. We have the one, the only Coach Dax Norris. Coach Norris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for having
Wonderful.
me on.
Our
Thank you for
pleasure.
thank you for joining us, Coach. We truly appreciate it. Coach, let's talk about it. After struggling and facing adversity throughout the entire season, how did it feel to see your team come out and win 3 straight games to go on now and play for the Southland Conference Tournament Championship?
Oh man, a great feeling. Those kids have worked their ass off and gone through a lot. Excuse my French, but they really have. And just seeing like the stuff that you know, we experience as coaches, and you just passing it down. But until they see it, until they experience it, then it's like it's like your dad. Your dad can tell you everything that's going on, and then yeah, you're like yeah, but then when you experience it and you see it, and you go, yeah, man, you're right. Yeah, that's how it was, and we knew the talent was there, but there's nothing better than seeing their faces of joy. Veteran guys, young guys. We got a good mix of guys on our team, and Callaway, Tristan Moore, Lariga, all those guys have done a good job of leadership, and that's why you do it. I tell people all the time, there's no amount of money in the world. Yeah, I know you got to make money to survive, but that was priceless to see them dog pile and to see them hugging each other and going through a bracket that was very tough, and but they went through it, and we had some real good games, and I'm very very proud of them of continuing to grind and continue what we talk about. We're big on grinding it out, being the underdog, proving people wrong, or just proving to ourselves that we can do it, and that's what they did.
You guys will play Houston Christian in the championship. You're very familiar with that team. What will it take to go to Houston and come out as Southland Conference tournament champions?
I think just continue to play with the passion that we play with, continue to execute. I know it's a coach's cliche, but get bunts down because you're not going to probably bang out 10 runs. Hopefully we do. But I think we got to get the bunts down. We got to have guys that come in after the starter like we've had. Our bullpen's got to be strong, and we got to take extra bases. Like we have, and I think just carry over the good vibe of what we did this past weekend, and I like our chances because obviously we played them in the weekend series before, and but it don't matter now. It's postseason and it's time to go, so they'll be ready. But I think it's like anything. I'm watching the SEC tournament now, South Carolina and Florida, and it's the team that makes the least amount of mistakes at this point in time because everybody's pretty good.
Yes, sir. VK.
Makes
Dax, Coach Dax, man, how are you? Good to
VK got.
have you on the show and everything. And you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, VK.
Hello? Okay.
yeah.
I wanted to congratulate you, Coach, man. I mean, we talked at the beginning of the season and everything, and I mean, you guys have been a grinded out team, and I mean, you guys came focused. Y'all handled y'all business, and I wanted to congratulate you on that. I tell you what, Emmanuel Peppers said something before that Thursday game, and he called it down the middle. He was like, "There's something with that Southeastern pitching these last couple of starts. We might have a shot." And y'all got it done that Thursday against Southeastern. What was your thoughts with that first victory going forward? You felt like that, hey, we could get two more out here.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Manny, that's my dog now. Manny, he is ultra positive, and me and him, there's times this year he's kept me. He goes, Coach, we're gonna be fine. We still gonna be able to do it. So appreciate everything Manny does. But we had already beat him one time. When we played him here, Stupridge, who's obviously one of the top, not only top pitcher in the league, but he's one of the top pitchers in the country. Holds all kind of records at Southeastern, and brother Martin Kidd, from here. But when Callaway hit the ball and it got lost, and we got the inside park home run, you kind of saw our team going, oh, okay, here we go, and then we tacked on a couple more, and we were able to get to a guy that's like I say he's tough to beat, but I think that was obviously a big momentum shift for us, and then we go into game two and we win a pitcher's duel, which that's something we hadn't had in the past. Where I think these hitters now seeing that we can match guys, and that's been a difference too. So, but definitely going in. I mean, going into Southeastern, they won the league. Tough place to play, and yeah, that don't go unnoticed of what we did. Our guys went in there. They were focused, determined, and like I said, we got to go in there and do the same thing this weekend with the same focus and the same attitude.
Let's talk about Bryce Callaway. What a 3 games, and I can say, in my opinion, and I'm still shocked that he's not the Southland Conference Player of the Year. That he is all conference. 3 players from UNO made it, but for him to not be Conference Player of the Year, that's very shocking. And I think he proved it over the weekend, going 7 for 12, 4 home runs, and 3 saves.
Yeah, 100%. As a coach, I built off that. He don't need much motivation anyway, because he's going to show up and he's ready to play. But I told him for the series, I said, hey, you got snubbed again on the Player of the Year. I said, I just want you to know you are Player of the Year. I said, but go prove, go prove. Everybody's here. You can prove it that. Not that he has anything more to prove, but he had an edge about him too, and that's what I love about the kid. He'll add more to what he's already done, and but yeah, I'm 100%. I mean, the guy hits the guy. I mean, he closes, and he would have started for us if we had to go to that game, the Sunday game. So, and there's no doubt in my mind if that game would have went, if we'd lost that game to Northwestern State and we had to turn around and play Sunday, that he would have got us off to a good start. Now, I probably he wouldn't have gone 8 innings, but knowing him, he could have. So I just it's a joy watching him. Like I said, we're on the motivation side of, hey, we hadn't won the championship in the Southland Conference yet, and I've used that for the motivation factor. Hey, until we win it, we still got to earn our respect. We still got to get respect from the other team in the league. But I think more so still concentrating on what we got to do, and during that time, prove people wrong, and I think if anybody walked away from that tournament, they gotta go. I think that guy's a player of the year right there. There's no doubt about it. So, but hey, he's our player of the year. He's our MVP, and I'm glad he's with us. So if I have to, I might go get him a trophy myself. So
Very, very much agreed, Coach. Rest of your team really played very well, especially Tristan Moore, Brian Larega, who played well. Also, Alexander
yeah,
Saunier. The combination of that team, especially the defense and your pitching, your pitching really came up big, especially the emergence of one of my guys, one of my Nunez guys, Ira
yes, sir.
Austin. How he has really have emerged. Can you tell us a bit about how Ira's improved, but not just that, how the defense and pitching has came together these last couple of
Well, I
weeks?
mean, we always talk about too. I think the same thing wins that always wins, and I came from the University of Alabama, and that's the quote that you'd always hear Coach Bryant, the legendary coach before Coach Saban was at Alabama, and he'd always go, "The same thing wins that always wins." And we lose, we just got a bunch of different excuses of why we lost. And in baseball, you got to have good pitching, you got to have good defense, and you got to have timely hitting because most of the time, especially now in tournament time, everybody's got pretty good arms. So it's getting a hit with 2 outs, or getting the 2-run home or the solo home run. And that's something we always concentrated on. Of our defense has always been pretty good. But now I think our guys are learning to pitch to contact more. Um, and guys that come out of junior college, it's a little adjustment because probably junior college don't have the lineups. They're not facing the same lineups that we're facing week in and week out. Not to say junior college is not good, but I'm talking about top to bottom. And some of their defense is not as strong as ours. So they learn to pitch the contact and let the defense work instead of trying to strike everybody out. And I think on the point with Ira, he's learned to do that. He's learned he struggled a little bit against left-handers because the slot he throws from, but he's able to raise the slot up and throw the backdoor curveball, which has made a huge difference. And he's one of our go-to guys. Obviously, he's one of the first guys we call on out the bullpen, and two could be a guy that could start in the future for us if he don't get drafted and. Which we hope he does and go to the next level. But we're going to enjoy him the whole time he's here, and he's been outstanding for us.
Absolutely. One last question. I'm gonna pass it on to George
All right.
Peppers. With you guys, this tournament and everything, how things have been so crazy. What you do you ever thought to this time that this conference wound up having the number 7 and number 16 going at each other for a
Eight
conference
weekend.
championship and a chance in the NCAA?
No, no, you didn't. But I guess if you go through the conference, when Houston Christian we played them, they were I think tied for first place at the time, and we were coming off of getting swept at McNeese State, and I think that's I talk about the resilience of our team is hey go on to the next weekend, go on to the next game, I talk about going to Corpus the last weekend of the year. Corpus was behind us, and I thought they were one of the better teams that we played all year. So that tells you how deep the league is and how the parity of college baseball has become. Obviously with the scholarships and all that. So, but no, all we kept talking about was let's get in. Once we knew that obviously we are trying to get one or two because you get to host, but once we saw that we couldn't get one or two, we're like, all right, let's just get in. And hell, I think we held the seventh spot pretty much all year and then slipped to eighth the last series. But once you in that tournament, it's like anything. It's like basketball or football is a little bit different, but basketball, anybody can make a run, and that's what we use that. Hey, just get in the tournament, and then let's be playing well at the right time, and knock on wood. That's what they've done so far.
George Peppers, you're up.
Hey, Coach, first off, thank you for making the time to join us on your busy schedule. I know you guys are about ready to head to Houston to try to win a title. But before we start, I want to bring up something that my brother Emmanuel and I had a discussion last night. And you talk about him extolling the power of positivity. I got another story on that in a minute. But this one,
Yeah.
I said, so me, I didn't want to get caught looking ahead, and he pulled me back. I said, Emmanuel, who do you want to play if y'all win this series against Houston? He goes, I ain't worried about the NCAA tournament. We got to win this 2 games first. I said, that's my boy, staying focused,
Mm,
staying on point. But
yeah.
let's talk about, huh?
No, that's 100%.
Yeah, without a doubt, and and whatnot. So he basically said, "Look, forget the tournament. Let's go win these two in Houston, and then we could talk about where we're going to go." I said, "There you go. I like that. Stay on point, stay focused." But my first question: this tournament was absolutely crazy, the Hammond bracket, because it was the tournament of big innings. Big innings late. Northwestern used I think a seventh spot to catch Southeastern and knock them out in the elimination game. You guys were down 8-2. And here's my other story before I ask you my question about that game, the Northwestern game when y'all came back. I'm listening to the game on the ticket, and Emmanuel goes, right before the eighth inning, he's like, it can be done. It has been done earlier in this tournament, and extolling his positivity. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I hope he's right because I don't want to play on Sunday. I was like, man, let's get this thing over with. What were you thinking at that moment? Down 8-2, 6 outs. what were you telling your team to keep their heads in it and basically lift them up?
Just keep grinding, uh keep believing and the process and you play 27 outs. It's very
Right.
very tough to get, you know that thing's not over. Just like, we flipped it and we went ahead, and we were, they had what, second, third with two outs there, after we had a 3-run lead. So it's never over until you get that last out. And but just the one thing I knew we had to do something, and not, our regular guys. We had the guys on the bench, the left-handed hitters. Obviously, Dominguez, who's been one of the best pitch hitters that we have. And he would be in there every day, but his growing is banged up. But he comes off the bench and gets a hit just pretty much every time. But I knew that we had to do something to spark the offense at that time, and we put Marco in. Marco hit for, I think, Evans. Dominguez hit for Loop, and then that we started rolling. They had better at bats, and nothing against the guys that were in there. It's just a time that we felt like it was, we needed a spark, and they gave us a spark. And Marco had a good at bat. I know he flew out to center, and then Dominguez got a hit, and then it just kind of snowballed. Like, here we go. And but I the whole time, I think the dugout and I think as coaches too, you gotta keep, at this point in time, you can't really just bang on them because they're making mistakes. It's you got to stay positive with them, because at this point in time, it ain't like we can go work on the mistakes that we made. It's this is what we got. But it's keeping them in a good mindset. And I'm very proud of the guys on the bench, because they bring the energy a lot. And then it just, like I said, it took off from there. And next thing you know, we got a 3-run lead with our man coming in to close the game. So we felt like we were in good shape, even when it got down to the last out, and the tying run was on, what, second base, I think. So, or third base.
Correct. I want to talk about one of your best pitchers on that staff, Grant Edwards. The record's not going to show it, but he has put a lot of quality starts together this year. 6 1/3, 7 innings, eight. Really just shoving the baseball down the other team's throat. Again, the record's not going to show it because it's been no decisions and stuff like that. Talk about the emergence of Grant this year and what he's meant to your program.
100%. Like on the pitch side, you got Bryce on the position side, and Grant's the leader on the pitching side. Obviously, Bryce coming over at the end, but uh, Grant has taken and ran with the Friday night role. And last year he took a lot of ups and downs. We knew the stuff was there. Knew how hard the kid worked. And you just, one of those guys that the adjustment from junior college to the D1 level. Last year, like I said, he understood he had to work on a changeup. His changeup's got unbelievably better, and to where he's recorded a lot of big outs, and it's probably going to make himself a little bit of money because he's got a third pitch as a starter. But he takes the ball every Friday night or every Thursday night. Little tendonitis. He should be ready to go this weekend. But he's logged a lot of innings for us, and a lot of, obviously, high intensity innings that it has a tendency to catch up at the end. But what he's done is lead the pitching side of it, going out setting the tone every Friday night and giving us a chance every Friday night. I think he had, what, maybe one bad start in the conference, and the first start against West Georgia, and that, besides that, he's been money. So
Yes.
and even the other day, we took him out. We still, it was, what, 4-2. So he was still, he came out with the lead, and then the other guys picked him up behind that. So no, he's made it much easier for Longshore, and now Odell has slid into the Sunday spot, or the third spot, and he's led that staff, and guys respect him. He can be a little. I wouldn't say, he's got some, what we call vinegar in his piss. He can he's got something to him. So guys,
Okay.
I heard him in the dugout the other day. He's like, "Let's go, make a pitch, get it done." All the stuff that you hear yourself saying all the time. That he's adding on to it, and that's what we have. We have guys that are preaching the same stuff that we're saying, and that's a beautiful thing when the organization comes together. And those guys have done it. Like I said, everybody's like, "Hey, great job," but all those guys have done is taken on, the personality of us, and they go out and do it. But he's definitely set the stage every Friday night.
You talked about quickly about Hayden Odell. He came up very large in the winners bracket game against Northwestern. Talk about what that performance did for your team and how important. Obviously, it was important because now you're into the championship round of the Hammond bracket. But talk about Hayden Odell's start in that game against Northwestern that got you to the final.
Uh, just another unbelievable start. And there again, there's another guy that he came in, good stuff. He's continued to work on his changeup. Uh, and the one thing I think happens nowadays, from what I've seen through the years, there's a lot of talented guys, probably more talented guys back than we played 20 years ago. But for some reason, they don't have the belief that maybe we had. I guess maybe there's more. Maybe there's more coaches they played for that told them they couldn't do it or whatever. And that's the thing. I've told him from day one, man, you can be one of the top lefties that we had come through here. And but he's continued to believe that, and he's continued to work and get to that point to where it's been a joy watching him, because now you can see the confidence. And I know the other night, so we practiced. I told him, probably a month ago, I said, we sat in the dugout and we practiced interviews. We're like, this is what they're going to ask you. This is when you get to a postseason, when you win a championship. And, we let them talk and all that. So it was funny the other day. He goes, the next day after he pitched, he goes, "Big Cat, how did I sound on TV?" I said, "Man, you sound like you've been there many times." So just just seeing that confidence grow, where before it was a kid that was, earning his way, quiet kid, but now, you can see the confidence, and I think more so, helping him. He's seeing now that I can do it, and not that he didn't have the belief before, but I think he just kind of, he maybe second guessed himself sometimes, like hell we all do. But now he's on a roll, and he's pitched as well as anybody for us down the stretch. So always asking for the ball. I asked him the next day. I said, if we need one inning, could you go? He goes, "I'm a little sore, but I could give you one inning." I said, "No, you're not gonna go today." So I said, "I think we got other guys that can, but just continue to work on what he needed to work on." And that's the beauty of a lot of them. They continue to work. They don't, they handle, not they handle coaching well, and because they want to get better. And I couldn't be more proud of him and the whole group.
Good stuff. Last question. Houston Christian stands between you and an NCAA tournament. You swept this team in the regular season. What's the message going to be this week? It's a different team because they took out Rio Grande to get here, and a Rio Grande team that swept y'all. So there's some respect to be put on them. But what is the message to your team as you head to Houston this weekend to play a team that you've already beaten? But what are you gonna drill into your team this week?
Stay with the process. The biggest game is the next game we play, and the biggest game is on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. To be ready to play that game, and like Manny was talking about, don't look ahead. We got to play pitch by pitch, inning by inning, and the one thing with this team it's kind of taken on that role of, staying in the moment. One thing I had Saban's psychologist, a guy named Dr. Kevin Elko. I was fortunate when I was at Alabama to be able to talk with him a little bit, and because he come over to baseball side, and of course, thank God Saban paid for some of it that we didn't have to pay to, have the guy talk to us, but he sat down with the coaches, and he would always say like, they would pound in different sayings during the week, and the one thing that I took on that they always said, be where your feet are. And that, that means, in that moment, be where, Thursday night at Houston Christian. That's the only thing that matters. We can't look ahead and we can't look about, behind us. And that's what I preach to them. And I think, it's taken off with them that they understand that. And, but like I said, I'm not. Yeah, everybody's asking me, is it advantage because we swept them? I don't think so. I think they're going to be a little more pissed off and try to get us. They're at their home place. They've had a great turnaround, and yeah, they went into Rio Grande and they packed that place out and took that regional. So they're going to be ready to go, and and so are we. But I think, like I said, the message is just be where your feet are. Let's take it one game at a time and not look ahead. And let's, it's obviously good if you get game one, but that still don't mean anything. You got to go to game two. But right now, we're just worrying about game one.
Most definitely. Coach Dax Norris, we want to wish you and your team the best of luck competing for the Southland Conference tournament, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank y'all, man. And maybe, hey, let's do this next week if all goes well. So
That works.
we can do it again next week. And then we can talk about where we might be going.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Most
okay.
definitely. All right. Thank you, Coach.
All
All right, coach.
right. Thank y'all.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That is Coach Dax Norris, and we hope to have Coach Jeremy
Kennedy.
Kennedy of Loyola in a little bit. Hopefully, we can get them on. The little flight trouble they've had and everything. Hopefully, we can get them on. But baseball, man. This is this is it's been a great showing, and this is big news for the city of New Orleans that Coach um, Dax Norris in his first year as the head coach is one step away of getting UNO into the conference, excuse me, the College World Series. Your
Actually,
thoughts, George Peppers?
it's the NCAA tournament. The World Series, that's further down.
Yeah, right, right, correct. Yes, sir.
All
You're right.
right. Not being terminology correct, just trying to
Oh
rein it
yeah,
in. But that was an enjoyable interview before we start.
yeah.
Coach Norris, very happy go lucky, but still on point when it comes to this weekend. Um, I haven't, I've, listened to this team and listened to games, and especially with the tournament in Hammond. When they beat Southeastern, I thought they had a real shot. Because that to me was the biggest underbelly. They have always had issue with the Lions in the postseason. Hence, a few years back, was it 2019 VK where they were up big and Southeastern ripped off an 8 spot late to grab them, something like that, and they got chased down. With that said, they exercised that demon, put them into the losers bracket, and at that point, I said, okay, they're in the driver's seat. They took out a Northwestern State team and really was rugged all year long. That the series they played was a very close series, except the last game. The last game kind of got away a little bit, um, and then they did what they did in the knockout game in the clincher to get to this game, to this series this weekend. I am proud of what this program has accomplished, but there's still work to do. They got 2 games in Houston. We say it's a best of 3, but the optimists in us are saying win Thursday, win Friday, and get to the tournament, and not have to worry about playing that decider in their building. But I am proud of what this UNO program has done. And I think they got a really really good chance to go in there and get
Yeah.
it. They just got to stay focused and on point. But on a personal note, for my brother, he's always said his goal is to call a UNO baseball game in the NCAA tournament. They're 2 wins away, VK. 2 wins. And he gets to realize that dream. And I turn it to you with
Before
that.
before VK goes,
Well,
your brother did text me, and he wanted to say, Adrian Dominguez has 11 pinch hits
Wow.
this season, and
That's good.
out of those 11, he has 7 hits. That's pretty darn good. High 60 percentage, 60 percent, 68, 67, 69. I don't know, but
Oh,
it's up there.
clutch. That's
Yeah.
clutch.
Yep. Go ahead, VK.
that's big right there. And you look at UNO turning this thing around. I was there for one of the Houston Christian games at UNO one time, and they had to come back and win that ball game. And it's going to be very interesting where they play this weekend. But Coach Norris, I mean, has done a really good job with this program, and they came together at the right time. Finally come together,
Yeah.
and I'm just getting also this from Manny before when you went against Southeastern in the first game in the postseason. UNO at one point was 0-6 against there was 0-6 first win in postseason ever against Southeastern.
Wow.
So that was big in itself to finally get over that hump and give them that confidence going forward. And this UNO team, and I'll tell you that they've been gold late this season. And I truly believe what they're gonna do is big, and hopefully they can get it done out there. And I'm still shocked to this day that Bryce Callaway is not the player of the year in Southern
Yeah,
Conference.
that's crazy.
I mean, I just can't believe that, especially the year he's had this year. But I
Well,
think UNO has a
go
chance,
ahead.
and what I'm saying, I hope they get it done and get a berth in the NCAA. I mean, hey, Louisiana's the place to be. This could be a banner year again in Louisiana, especially if UNO makes it. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? You might have the trifecta: UNO, LSU, Tulane there.
Lane.
You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna. I'm like this. We're look Tulane. They 2 years straight.
Hey, VK, were
Especially
they 1-6 or 0-6?
they were
0-6.
they were 0-6 going against them, and they finally got their first win.
You sure about that, VK? Take that
You
text one more time.
Uh-oh.
Take that text one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They were 1-6 against.
Boy,
I had
Emmanuel
to look
correcting
at
this
it.
man on point, huh, JB?
I,
It's all
I, I had to
good.
look at it again. Man, I'm trying to make sure if you were. I know I see the text, and I thought the conversation we had before there was like they never have beaten them in postseason. I didn't know they just one time, so I guess it
My
was
man
one
Manny
time.
know.
Man
He
knows.
know the
That
stats for
man's a
UNO baseball. He
broadcaster.
calling games.
Not
Ain't no
saying he
second guessing
don't.
Manny, bro.
I'm not second guessing, man. I do not disrespect that man. Not at all. Not at
He
all.
needs to be in that dog. If they
Regardless,
win this series this weekend, he needs to be in that dog
I'm
pile, y'all.
Manny in the
That
dog
would be
pile, huh?
wild. Yeah, put him in a dog pile. He deserves it.
Oh boy. Boy, he could just see Manny running down there quick, huh? Getting
Yeah,
down
like
there.
VK at
He
Like
ain't gonna call a
VK at
game no
Gormley.
more. He ain't gonna call a game.
he do need to be in the file.
Well, look, guys, look. As we talking about UNO, they got a chance to get to the NCAA tournament. So does Tulane. They have a chance. LSU, we know, will be there no matter what. But let's talk about the year in baseball for the state of Louisiana. Because I think you had a lot of teams with 30 plus wins, and then I think
Hmm.
UNO and other teams were close to getting 30 plus wins. What does that say about the state of baseball here in Louisiana, George Peppers?
It says that we are one of the strongest states in baseball. The depth of teams that are very good, and in that mix, and it was a shame what happened to them this past weekend. VK, I got to listen to that LSU Eunice in the decider at Shelton State. They won. What did they win? 50 games this year,
They won
and they lost
54 games.
54, and they couldn't get 55, blowing a 6-1 lead late at Shelton State, losing that game. And we're talking about
LA
baseball.
Tech, they're 23.
What's that?
LA Tech is 31 and 23.
Louisiana Tech and Tulane. Y'all talking about Tulane going for the trifecta, guys? They won today in the opening round in the breakfast game against Florida Atlantic. They now go to the winners bracket, but they play probably the favorite in that conference, and that's Texas San Antonio. That game is Thursday, and I believe at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, but
Um,
Tulane, they've been there twice. They've been a low
they
seed and
have.
won this. So
They started their closer today. That's a gamble by Jay Ullman, and that closer Lombardi, I think is his name, went out there and shoved it down Atlantic's throat, and they won 6-3. So that's gonna save a lot going into the next game against the Roadrunners, who have been monster all year and probably an at-large team, even if they don't win this tournament. But Tulane, 7 in a row, 7 in a row in the conference tournament over the last 2 years. Today counting, and then we're talking about strength in baseball. Southeastern Louisiana softball team pulled off a monumental accomplishment last week, beating LSU twice, getting to 50 wins. No, they didn't get out because Nebraska popped them. When we talk about the strength of baseball and softball in the state, it's unparalleled. Unparalleled. BK. We have a lot of strong teams. Louisiana Tech that JB mentioned is 31 wins. LSU is going to be a national seed. Tulane probably has to win this tournament to get there. UNO obviously has got to win these 2 games against Houston Christian to get there. Loyola and LSU Shreveport are already booked their tickets to the World Series. Baseball in Louisiana is thriving, and it continues to get better. And the talent pool that we have on these teams, man, I am. If I wasn't a Louisiana resident, I would be very envious of the talent pool here.
go ahead,
Well,
BK.
you look at it, the head coach of the LSU Fighting Tigers,
Jay
um,
Johnson.
yes, Jay Johnson said it himself a couple years ago when the LSU Tigers made their national championship run. He said that I had to get used to things in Southeast Louisiana and how things are run, how things are going, and he gave a big time respect to that state in baseball because he was like, this state is really, really banging out some great teams and great talent. And we have got that this year. You look at all the great stories this year. You look at what happened with Southern University in New Orleans, making their first ever NAIA tournament.
Yeah.
You also look at the most unethical thing I might have ever seen in the state of Louisiana. LSU and their sister schools with the year they're having.
Hmm.
Eunice
Hmm.
54 wins, but come up short. And you look at LSU Eunice, I'm sorry, I said Eunice, Shreveport, 54-0
That's crazy.
in the NAIA World Series. I mean, you already got the Tigers #1 in the country going into the SEC tournament.
Who? Oh, LSU Tigers. Okay, I got you. I
LSU
got you.
Tigers.
All right.
The
I think
LSU
LSU
Tigers,
Shreveport. All right, I got you.
yeah, LSU Tigers, LSU Eunice, Bengals, and you got LSU Shreveport,
Pilots.
not Pilots.
Hmm.
So that's amazing. They call them the Pilots, but regardless of the fact, it's just a fact that this state always been talented every year. It's not just one big. It's every year. This is a great year for state of Louisiana, but it always each year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But you just gotta love it when you stay down here in this state, regardless of the fact. You just gotta love it, even if you move to another state. You still love it that your home state is just representing and kicking behind like I don't know what. You just gotta love it if you're in another state and you're from the state of Louisiana. You're just loving it that like man, my state just banging it out, man. We're in the NCAA's. We in the NAIA tournament. We banging it out. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's a lot of great programs that has came out this year. You look at how the Region 23 was. Besides Eunice, you looked at Delgado not having a bad year, a record-breaking year for Nunez. Record-breaking year
Yeah.
with their best record ever in school history. Their fifth straight season when winning with a fifth straight winning season. A record offensively for this team, and also two pitchers with over 8 wins this year. I mean, what a year for the Nunez Pelicans and how they broke out. Too bad that they came up short against Delgado in the Region 23 tournament, but what a year for them, that a total team effort on that team, and counting 7 players that are going to the next level
Mm-hmm.
in baseball, and one of them going to LSU Shreveport, and that's Dorian Jackson, and Jace LaCava that is going to UL Lafayette. So, and also Colin Cure that's going to Loyola.
Okay,
So
good.
another Nunez Pelican going to Loyola, who we got 2 Pelicans right now, actually 3 Pelicans playing for this current team. So that is really big there. But like I said, Louisiana is a hotbed for baseball, big time.
It most definitely is. And sticking with the baseball topic of right now, we did have the LHSAA High School State Championship for baseball this past weekend, and I'm gonna quickly touch on it, but VK will elaborate more on it. But the thing that stood out to me is Sam Houston winning the Division 1 non-select state championship. And when I think of the road Sam Houston went on, they were 11 seed, didn't have a bye. They had to go to West Monroe in the second round, and they swept West Monroe, who is a national power in baseball. They later had to play Barb, who they did not beat at all during the district schedule. They swept Barb, who's also a national power. And then they had to play the number 1 team in the state, Live Oak, and they beat Live Oak in 3 games. To me, this is one of the most impressive state championships ever to me in baseball. VK.
I have to agree. I got to agree with you big time on that. That's a huge run for that team, and it was years in the making, because I remember about 3 years ago they was in the, and they've been always been in the cusp, state semifinals or something like that. I remember they was in the state semifinals and lost in a walk off base hit against West Monroe. And what a ultimate payback for them to go to West Monroe, get a couple of walk-offs and beat them in their series. Then they go to Barb and knock them off to get to the championship series. And in a new format at that, they had to go into 3 games against Live Oak, and they get it done game 3. It was years in the making for those guys at Sam Houston to finally get one, because it's always in that area around Lake Charles and everything. It always have been Barb
Barb.
and Sulphur, Barb and Sulphur, the 2 top programs in that area and in the state. Sulphur's won a couple of state titles, not as much as Barb. Barb is the
No.
standard, but
Yes.
we can't forget about Sulphur. So it's usually those 2 every year. But now you add Sam Houston in the fold, and you would think, like, can they finally break through? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, they did. They finally broke through to win this title, man. That is really big for them and everything, and it's a huge story for that area. And I mean, hey, it's a sign that that third program is Sam Houston, and they're here, man. They're here, and they finally got it done. And the big ups also going to Brother Martin with the great year that they had this year, getting back to the state title game for the first time since the 90s, but came up short against Catholic of Baton Rouge, who won back-to-back state championships. I know that is a tough
Another
opposition.
national power.
Oh yeah, that's another national power. That's a tough opposition, man. Tough opposition. I thought Brother Martin might have had a shot, but it was a real tough opposition for them. To this Catholic team, they was hungry. They was like they wanted to get, and that senior class, they're the winning in the senior class in the history of Catholic now
Yes, they are.
with what they have done. Back to
Yes.
back titles, three straight trips to the, really 4 straight trips to the championships up in
Yeah.
Sulphur. So especially with the even with the new process. So
But big ups to Brother Martin and Coach Jeff Lupo, and what a run for them. What a big time run. But great weekend of action. But a lot of, you can say, a lot of new champions more than anything else. Not too many repeat champions, except for the Cat. The Cat was actually, I think, the only repeat champion out of everybody in those divisions this week, this past week in the baseball state championships. Everybody else, a lot of new champions, and a couple of them tried to get another title, but came up short, man. But a lot of brand new champions.
GP, what's your thought about Sam Houston winning the
And,
Division One
and,
non-select?
incredible by them. Always thought as the little brother in Lake Charles.
Yeah.
They announced themselves in a very big way, did they not? But you kind of had a clue that this could be a different version of the Bearcats, right? With
Uh huh.
with their road traveled to get here. You kind of had an idea that's like, oh wait, they go to West Monroe and take them down. Then Barb, I think you said they mentioned they got them. Uh, at that point, you're like, boys, here they are. And congratulations to them winning this state title against ED White. Look, let's talk about the Cardinals. The athletic program has come of age this year. The football team made the state title. The baseball team gets to a state championship. The basketball team, I think it was the boys. The boys, I think, got to the semis. I think so. They have had a robust year athletically at ED White,
Oh, not Eddie
and
White. They didn't get to the semis. Not the boys.
no, in baseball they played
Oh,
ED
okay. I thought
White.
you meant basketball. Okay.
Oh no, no, that football team got to the championship against
Yeah.
Shaw.
Yeah.
Right, and that was an incredible effort by them.
Yep.
Shaw was better on the day, and big ups. Highlight of the prep season, I'm sure for you, prep sports season for you was Shaw winning state. Let's call it what it is. But going back to Sam Houston, circling back to them, it was an incredible run by those guys as the 11th seed.
Yeah.
But as I said, they gave you clues on their way here that were like, yep, this team could be something different. And they this was the breakthrough that they have been waiting for the longest. I think they got tired of hearing barb, 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 sulfur, 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 all
I'm
those
sure they hear
powers
it
in
all
that
the time,
area.
year in, year out.
They do. And I'm saying is like,
They do.
man, enough of this. Let's go establish our own. And they did. And congratulations to that group on taking down a good program and winning the state championship. Big ups to Sam Houston.
What are your thoughts about the other national powerhouse that won Division One Select Catholic?
Catholic. Repeat, right?
Yeah.
I think they repeated this time and then took down Brother Martin and get there. Brother Martin, I thought, was a little gassed after that incredible series with Holy Cross to get
Yeah.
here. The pitching was a little exhausted after that, and I think they ran out of gas. Look, no shame in losing to a team that potentially could be a dynasty type team. Catholic, winning it back to back could be a very big player next year. Will be a very big player next year. You would anticipate if not for some maybe potential changes in the landscape and other areas. We'll see about that, how that manifests itself. But Catholic, yeah, that was tour de force. What they did, Brother Martin, handled their business and got the job done. Congratulations to the Bears and that group and winning that state championship. They really did it with conviction, though,
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, you look at Catholic, it's one of the best programs in the state.
in
Not
the
only
state.
just in baseball, but
Period.
basketball and football, man. You can't say anything bad about Catholic in sports, man. It just and
At
even
all.
track. Even
And track.
track. And track. I
Can't
can't forget about
forget
Yeah,
track.
about
yeah,
track.
they starting to show up in track, aren't they?
Show up. They didn't win state championships. They been showed up.
I know that's what I'm saying. They've been, but they
I,
pronounced themselves to the.
I think
Go ahead, BK.
Catholic of Baton Rouge in track totally has changed the game for track.
Yes,
They have totally changed it. Yeah, and I mean, it's
used to
almost
be New
like when
Orleans
St.
ran the route.
Aug, like St. Aug, like a Edna Carr and everybody else in track. Meaning you're gonna have to up your numbers if you're going to win state.
Hmm.
you're gonna have to up your numbers. Meaning, you better pit some people in your field events or something to get points. That's how much cat. That's how Catholic has really, really, really changed things because they're mixing it up, field people and track people, and it's ridiculous. And and icing on the cake is when you got good sprinters and runners, and it's like, oh god,
And you think about their district with Scotlandville and Zachary.
yes,
That's some other good programs in track.
right,
High quality track program
absolutely,
too.
absolutely. They got a huge they're in a tough district themselves, but they have a huge advantage. It's almost like Zachary and them, they got to up it because it's like these guys have a lot stacked, and we got to match up with them some way, somehow to get a chance.
Yes, indeed. Well, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we return, the head coach of the LSU Shreveport Pilots, Coach Brad Neffendorf, will join us right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Green Law Firm is a full service law firm specializing in personal injury, criminal law, successions, and family law. With over 25 years of experience, the Green Law Firm continues to provide efficient, competitive, and effective representation to clients throughout the state of Louisiana and all across the nation. Consultations are free. If you're looking for results, call the Green Law Firm at 504-328-3990. That's 504-328-3990, located at 931 Westwood Drive, Suite B in Marrero, Louisiana. The Green Law Firm.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
JFK Martial Arts offers a wide variety of martial arts programs for kids, teens, and adults as they empower lives through martial arts. Please give them a call at 985 266 0664 and don't forget to ask about their 1 week free special.
Hi, I'm Erica Randolph, head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team.
And welcome back to the Hatchet Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, alongside VK Jones and George Peppers. Our next guest, he is the head coach of the LSU Shreveport Pilots. They are the number one seed in the NAIA College World Series, and they've been making history throughout this entire season. And they are 54-0. We have the one and only coach, Brad Netten. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. Neffendorf. I got it, coach. I got it, coach. How you doing, coach? We can't hear coach. We can't hear coach. He's not muted. He's not muted. Let's do this, coach. Let's log out and log back in, if you don't mind. So we can get coach. Let's see if we can get him this time. All right, coach, you there? We still can't hear coach. Still can't hear coach. Yeah, tell you what. Yeah. VK, let's do this. VK,
Yes, sir.
text coach my number. He can call me, and I'll put the phone up and we go from there. We'll make it work like we always do. There we go.
Got it.
All right, coach. Take coach out.
You're sending the context as we speak now.
That's cool. That's cool. So this happens sometimes. There we go. All right, coach. Coach Neffendorf?
Yeah, I apologize, man. I've got a laptop here. I'm in the hotel where the series is at, and I've never used it for video stuff before,
All
so that's
good.
probably the issue.
All good, Coach Neffendorf. Coach, thank you for joining us tonight on the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Definitely, Coach. Coach, did you ever think, as being a coach of a program, that your team could ever be 54-0 heading into the NAIA College World Series?
No, absolutely not, man. Not at all. And it's I don't know. It's been a little bit of a crazy wild ride, and obviously these guys have done something remarkable and only continue to keep getting better. But no, to answer your question, I don't think anybody. If anybody answered yes, I'd say they're nuts, even if it happens. So
How do you keep your players level headed when they've accomplished so much success this season?
just continuing to remind them a little bit about it and stay on routine with what we're doing. But honestly, they've done an unbelievable job of just muting it themselves. Obviously, they've acknowledged it some, but when it comes to it each and every day, you barely ever hear them talk about it, and they just continue to show up and stick to routine. And I think they would trade some wins for losses if they knew they were going to have a chance to play for a national title or win it. And here we are, 54-0 with a chance to, we're a few games away, and obviously game one is on Friday. So, that's the biggest deal is it's great. And obviously, they should be applauded for it. But, in the end, the main goal, there's two main goals left, in this program, boxes the check, and they want to check both of them. That's getting in and playing for a national title and then having a chance to win it.
All right, VK.
Coach Neven Dort, how you doing, Coach? And appreciate you joining us on the show and everything. And we definitely really wanted to talk about you guys. And I've talked with Coach Jeremy Kennedy from Loyola, and also Coach Olin Parker from Suno, and it was like, man, the team y'all need to talk about is LSU Shreveport. And when I heard about LSU Shreveport, did the research, I'm like, wow, how amazing it's been for this season that that you guys are coming out there and you playing every day and winning every game. But not just that, even the last game to clinch it, that you even got ejected at the game and you guys still won the ball game. What you can say about your team's consistency?
I mean, it's been impressive. I think we've developed a pretty good routine this year, and they've done an unbelievable job of sticking to it. Yes, I did unfortunately get ejected, but we did put an appeal through, so I will get to coach game one. So good news of whatever happened with kind of a ridiculous situation this last weekend. But that says it all to me and everybody else about these guys. I mean, honestly, we don't need to be there. They've done such an unbelievable job of playing as one unit and playing together and enjoying to play together. And and especially what's crazy about these guys at this point in the year, I mean, you kind of start seeing. Nobody wants to practice. And obviously the practices are a little bit different at this point in the year. You're just maintaining a routine and you're a little bit lighter, but staying consistent with what you're supposed to be doing. And these guys have just continued to come out every day. Game, practice, it doesn't what I've never seen a group enjoy playing together and practicing together so much. And I think that's probably 90% plus of why we've done what we've done this year, with obviously some other pieces added to it. But we just stay out of their way. We do what we can to get them prepared and then let them go play. And they've done an unbelievable job of policing each other with the things that they need to. And then just, I've never seen a group play so well together. And obviously it's easy to say that 54-0, but they've done an unbelievable job from game one of the year, just growing that together and continuing to keep getting better while doing it.
Unbelievable chemistry. And looking at the team stats for this year, amazing stuff that you have scored 617 runs this season, 3 points, a .364 batting average, a 4.95 on base percentage, 604 slugging percentage, 70 home runs this year for your squad, and also a pitching staff that is unbeaten as well. I mean, your staff has been unbelievable with one of your pitchers that is actually 14-0 a pitcher that's 11-0, and a pitcher that's 12-0. So that is unbelievable numbers what we have seen so far from your team and everything. And you know, it's just unethical what we kind of seeing with your team. But then on top of that, how about the sister schools of LSU? I've never seen a year like this. That we know the LSU Tigers, number one in the nation in the NCAA, but you guys undefeated, and also LSU Unis and also LSU Unis in the junior college level, with over 53 wins this year as well. You know what you can say about the LSU system itself really coming on baseball.
No, it's been awesome. And honestly, I thought about this the other day. If you look 2 years ago, LSU Unis and us both lost in a regional final game on our home field on the same day. And we're both a game away from the World Series. And that was the year, I think, that LSU won the national title. So, here we are again this year, where obviously LSU Unis lost the other day, a close one to Shelton State in Alabama, and was a game away after the remarkable year that they've had of not going to the NJCAA World Series after they've jumped from Division II JUCO to Division I and win 50 some games this year. LSU's having another unbelievable year, and then obviously what we're doing. So, I'm not from Louisiana, and I've always known that baseball is extremely good down here. It's a little bit of a different style. It's tougher. It's in your face, and I think it's going to be shown this year. And then, you even go outside our system. I think that's great of Jeremy Kennedy down at Loyola to say what he said, to talk to us. And him and I are really good friends. We were actually just texting, before we got on this phone. But you want to talk about something remarkable, go look at him again. That guy's taking his third different NAI program with Loyola to a World Series. It's I don't know of anybody else at our level that's done what he's done. He's at his third different school. So, the state of Louisiana in general, Suno making a regional and being on ours this year, it's been an unbelievable for baseball in the state of Louisiana this year.
Very much agree. Can you tell us a little bit about your players that really has stood out this year for your team?
Well, obviously everybody else talks about our pitching, which it's been good. And, I think the one thing that really makes this year is there's been a lot of talk about our offense with how good our pitching has been. Obviously from the pitching standpoint, to have a 2.3 something ERA in college baseball, I don't care what level it is, it's pretty unbelievable. And that's obviously spearheaded by the three guys that we've got in rotation. And you look at Isaac Rohde, which is the one that you talked about being 14-0. He's a returning first team All-American. If we ended the day, could possibly and should be, if you ask me, be the national pitcher of the year. We got two other, loaded mid-90 arms with Draven Ziegler and Kobe Reeves that, finished out that rotation. And we've got some really good other pieces that have done it. Honestly, the other pieces are, I think, what kind of we're going to make or break our pitching, and they've made it up until this point. From an offensive standpoint, Josh Gibson, player of the year this year, has put up stupid numbers. Our returning conference player of the year, Vantrell Reed, has turned it on late and had a really good year. He's another guy that, now we've got the last two conference player of the years on the same team this year. You don't see that much. Jose Sauron is one that goes unnoticed because his offense, the numbers don't glare at you. They don't wow you. They don't stick out. But the guy's fielding 985, I think it is right now at shortstop. He's got 3 years on the year and right under 200 chances. He was the National Junior College Gold Glove winner 2 years ago. That guy hasn't made an error this year with his glove. Wow. He's got 3 years, and one's, I think, a ball he went to flip and dropped it, and the other two are, one's a ball he threw back to the pitcher with a live ball in play. The pitcher, turned his head and it went past him. So that's one of his 3 errors. I mean, that's the best shortstop in the country. And, for us to be doing what we've been doing, period, as a team, that guy ignites it by what he does on defense. And then, I'll finish it out with Diego Aragon, a 3-year starting catcher for us, who's really, we told him last year, if we're going to have a chance to be good this year, you're going to have to kick it in gear a little bit offensively, because he struggled and his numbers have taken off this year. And, he's done an unbelievable job. We play fast and we play hard. We play in your face, and it has to start behind the plate. And Diego has done that for us all year long. And he's caught every game for I think the last month straight. And that's tough to do in college baseball.
Very much understood right there. And I know you have a lot of respect for a lot of the coaches and everything. We was hoping to have Coach Kennedy on tonight, and I know he had a lot of little travel issues and stuff. I know it's been a lot going on with flights and stuff like that and everything, but it's good to have you on. But I want to ask you this last question. I'm going to pass this on to George Peppis. You're recruiting You've been on the go, getting some good players. One of them is I called some games for the Nunez Pelicans the last couple of years in junior college. Dorian Jackson, a huge signing for you guys, and
Yes.
especially the way he has played the last couple of seasons, and especially at the beginning of the year. He know he suffered some little injuries, but he recovered pretty well. But he's a great all around player, and I think that's a huge signing for you guys. What are your thoughts on Dorian Jackson, and also your
Absolutely.
other
I
recruits
mean,
as
we
well?
were on him for a while. Been kind of tough to get on the phone, and then and I understand why. I mean, obviously, every kid's wanting to go high level Division One, and obviously, like we tell these guys, we're Division One. We just don't have the blue dot next to our name like NCAA. But Dorian is a guy with the amount of guys that we've got to replace offensively. I think he's a guy that could have started for us this year. He's electric. He can run. It's a left-handed swinger, extremely athletic. He's put up unbelievable numbers this year, and I expect him to come in here and hit at the top of the lineup and do the same thing for us next year. And we couldn't be any more excited to get an in-state guy like Dorian to come in here and continue to help this program move forward in the direction that it's been. And I'm glad you guys brought him up, and I think that's awesome because I'm jacked to have him here.
And what about your other recruits, Coach? Right, quick. Yeah, no, how things looking with the recruiting as well?
Man, it's up and down right now, but that's the way it is at this level. I think patience is everything. We've always said when we recruit, if you're going to win, you're going to win big, and you're going to win at a national level. You got to win with the recruiting late July, early August. That's when we're going to get the majority of them. We've got some good ones coming in. Obviously, the tough piece is going to be, filling the void of the guys that we're losing from a pitching standpoint. Those three guys that we talked about on the rotation, we're losing all three of them next year. So, I'll finish it with this. We're going to be losing three arms. One of them's 5Ks away with 100 plus strikeouts this year. That doesn't happen in college baseball much. Rhodey's got 125. Reeves has got 105. Draven Ziegler's got 95. And when he throws in this thing, he'll be up over 100. So, I'm not going to say it's going to be impossible to do because we've continued to get good arms in here, but that's the main focus right now is getting some arms that can do it, and we'll get them. We got a couple good pieces in, and we got to fill the void at shortstop of what we're losing. That's going to be tough to. I feel sorry for whoever comes in with what we've got to replace at shortstop because I'm going to be all over their rear ends every day because it ain't never going to look the way it was the last 2 years.
George Peppers, you're up.
Coach Neffendorf, first off, thank you for taking the time for joining us. Your busy schedule, and it's your first time in the College World Series since 2022. Undefeated. It's unprecedented that this team is that good. When did you realize? I mean, no coach. I mean, every coach obviously wants to win every game, but when did you realize that this particular team has something special that we could do something very big this year?
I've had to answer that question a lot lately, and and before I answer it, I always tell everybody somebody's going to think I'm stupid when I answer it this way. Honestly, it was inning one of the year. And it's not because I know we went up big inning one, but it was just the way it looked, the way they moved around, the way you never know anything about your team, obviously, until the more you get going into the year, but you never know until you line up with the uniform on to get somebody else in another dugout. And I've been at this level long enough in college baseball to at least have a little bit of a feel for what it looks like with the really good teams at this level. And there was just something. I remember looking at my assistant that day and go, "Hey man, I don't care if it's any one of the year. Just look out there. We're gonna have a really good team." Now that I think that look, we should have lost 2 games in the first 10 days of the season. 2 games that we had, if it wasn't this group, we would have lost 2 games that we had to come back and walk off. And we've had 4 or 5 of those this year. But did I ever think we were going to be 54-0? No, but I did think that we were a team that, at this level, if you get to 50 wins, you're really, really, really good. I knew we'd had a chance to be a 50-win team. Plus 50, four over 50 before we got to the series. No, I never thought anything like that. But it was right away in game one of the year in inning one. Just, there was something I felt, something I saw moving around, and I knew we'd be really good.
Talk about the strength of baseball in the state of Louisiana, period. You guys 54-0, Loyola's in this World Series for their very first time. LSU, Tulane, UNO. Tulane and UNO have chances to make runs, potentially to get to the NCAA tournament. LSU is in. LSU Eunice had a heck of a year of a sad finish in the loss to Shelton State over the weekend. Southern and Grambling have chances in the SWAC. Talk about the state of baseball in Louisiana. And you said you're not a native, but you have to be envious of how good the talent pool is at every level in this state.
It's really good. Obviously, I've followed LSU and the high level baseball in this state for a long time. And I'll give you the example when I knew just the players that came out of Louisiana in general good. I took a Division I job as a pitching coach at Southern Illinois before I came here after my time at Tennessee Western. And the first thing that we did is went and recruited the futures games in Atlanta. I think it was 16 and 17-year-olds. And I remember watching the Louisiana team twice in that tournament. And I remember like right away watching the first game, and I was like, man, that baseball in Louisiana is really good. These guys just play different. They're tougher. They move faster. They're gritty. And it's been the same ever since I've got here, and it's continued to grow. I think this state has hit on some really good coaching hires who have done a really good job of surrounding themselves by really good people, really good assistant coaches, and getting really good players in. And a lot of the names are growing. Louisiana Tech is obviously another one that's up there with Lane Burroughs and what he's done. And you can go down the list of all the names that you just written off or read off. But it's not only is it a really good year, but it's continuing to keep getting better.
Josh Gibson, you talked about your pitching staff, but I want to use and extrapolate more on Josh. 67 RBIs this year, 52 stolen bases. The diversity in his game is palpable. He has been such the spark plug for you. What kind of a person is he? Not just as a player, but as a person. Talk about him, Josh Gibson, the person.
All right. Well, I can just answer that with this. I've got a 4-year-old daughter, and she's in love with him.
Okay.
That's her best friend. My son loves him. Josh is really grown. He's really mature. He's got baseball in his background. His dad played Division I baseball. Josh is a little quiet and reserved to begin with, and then you can open him up, and the way he interacts or moves around on a daily basis but he's a really good kid, but it doesn't reflect the type of play and electricity that he plays with. I mean, he's an electric athlete. Josh does things. I mean, and nobody knows this about Josh. I mean, if you want to talk about the baseball side, I'll just how much I've enjoyed him and how much I'm going to miss him when his time is done. That guy's played center field for us this year. He's played left. He's played second. He's played short. He's played third. He came in as a shortstop. Was an all-conference shortstop that was signed to play Division I as a shortstop. And when we got Jose Sauer in here, we moved him, and it was, he didn't care. He just wanted to be on the field. And what people don't understand about him, Josh could have about 70 stolen bases if he wanted right now. The kid plays hard, and I mean hard. He's played in every game, and I give him the green light to go. And there's been times where that dude just legged a single into a double, and it's, hey man, you got an open bag right here to go take it and add to your number, and he just stays at second. And he goes when he wants to. He's got a feel for the game. I mean, he should be entering this, as far as I'm concerned, with 60 plus stolen bases, but he's hitting the leadoff and the majority of the year in the 2-hole for us. And I can't say enough. If you go look at his career stats here, he's going to be in a record book in a lot of different things. And he don't look like much. The kid is 5'8", 175 pounds. He's put together well, but he don't play like that. He plays like he's 6'6".
You've looked at the field here for this College World Series, and your first opponent is Grandview. I did a little bit of reading myself, and the description is that they're a scrappy baseball team, a little bit different than you guys. What are you guys going to have to do to get off to a good start against that team that kind of feels like an Oregon State type team, small ball and scrappy and all that? How different a matchup is that for you guys?
They're different. Obviously, we're from a pitching standpoint, when you look at it, we're a little bit more dynamic on the mound than them, but they're very offensive. They're tough. That's what I was known for in other sports up there, and their bats caught fire this last week, winning 2 games on that final day against the team that beat us to go to the World Series last year, who returned a ton of guys. So what they did, having to win 2 on that final day, it was extremely impressive. We got to do what we've done all year, and we got to go out and we got to throw a punch. On the defensive side right away and put up a 0 and let that kind of fuel us into, going out and getting after it offensively. So I don't think we have to do anything different, though. I think what we just got to do is go out and be who we are, stay loose, stay composed, and just play poised throughout the entire game and just go out and play our style of baseball. And I still like our chances. But, at this point in the season, it don't matter who you play here; anything can happen. And I do like our chances of playing deep into this thing if we can start that game off the right way. Because the unique thing about our bracket is if you can get past day one on Friday with a win, and you believe you're going to win that game, you can throw a little bit of anything you want on the pitching side of it because you're going to get the next 2 days off. You just can't go throw everybody to get a win and then not win it because you're screwed for the next day. But whoever wins that first game has Saturday and Sunday off and a 2-day rest before they come back on Monday for game two.
How great would it be for the state of Louisiana if LSU, Shreveport, and Loyola play for the national championship? That would be awesome. Before I lead into my next question,
It,
it'd be awesome,
it,
to be honest.
It'd be
But
unbelievable. I mean, we both played in 22 on our home field and had to go extra innings and walk them off with a 2-strike, 2-out pinch hit to beat them. That'd be unbelievable. I don't think there could be a better story than that, especially with
no,
them getting in here for the first time and what we've done. And Kennedy runs an unbelievable program down there, and I'm excited to watch them play. I'm jacked for him. Like I said, good friend, but I think overall that'd be great for the state of Louisiana with everything we've already talked about, how good baseball, is and how and what it is going forward.
and whatnot, that would be awesome. The Grand Junction, thin air. How does that factor into the style of baseball you guys play? I don't know if that's
It's the elevation plays a little bit different here, and the ball does travel, and the the field and stadium in general is it's I wouldn't say smaller, but it plays smaller here. It's
right.
always been one of those deals where we've always kind of said pitching and defense gets you here, and offense is what wins it. Everybody's offensive in this tournament, so I think it's going to come down to if teams are going out there and they're maintaining to be offense the way they are. I think it's going to come down to whoever can get more outs, defensively in big moments and minimize big innings.
Think the way you guys pressure the baseball, pressure the pitchers to try to give you guys opportunities. I think that's going to play a big role in what you guys do in this World Series. But final question: what would it mean for you to win this national championship with this group? Undefeated coming in and hoping to keep that record unblemished and winning a national title. What would it mean with this group to win a title?
It would mean a lot just because, for them in general, what they've done, how they've done it. They play the right way. They play hard. They do things the right way. Obviously, what they've done, nobody can ever take that away. Even, win or lose this thing. But I think, even though it's not life or death, and we talk about that all the time, the great thing about it would be number one, this would be 35 years of a really successful program here that has never won a national title. You know, for everybody that's been a part of this program, the coaches, the players, administration, the fans, everybody that supported it, you could put 35 years together. And I think everybody, with the 34 years prior to this would be unbelievably ecstatic because they want that. I mean, everybody's a part of it. So, but for this group to be able to do it the way they've done it and, for 34 years, they kind of get to be the ones to put it together for them. Man, it'd be unbelievable. And it's something that, obviously they get to carry with them the rest of their lives. And, they're already going to be tied together in a close group going forward. But, it's just something that they would have for the rest of their lives. And it's not necessarily just about the national title. It's about how they did it and who they did it with.
Most definitely. Coach Brad Neffendorf, we want to wish you the best of luck in the NAIA College World Series. And we also want to thank you for taking time out your schedule to join us on the show tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it.
Definitely, Coach. Thank you.
Coach.
All right. We'll talk to you. Thanks.
Coach Brad Neffendorf, the head coach of LSU Shreveport Pilots baseball team, 54-0, and they're looking to bring back the national championship. And everybody will say they are the favorite to win it all. It's never easy, but you have to like their chances, George Peppers.
You do, and for a team that's never lost a ball game all year long, and they face some adversity at some point, being behind in some games and whatnot, but able to effort it out and gut it out and win. That pitching staff has been absolutely on point. I mentioned Gibson. Those numbers are silly good. But it's not just him. They are so balanced and so deep. You gotta think the Pilots are the favorite to win this thing. Um, they just got to go in there with it, like Coach Neffendorf said. We got to go in there and do what we've done all year long. Don't change anything. I mean, you've won 54 straight ball games. What the heck are you changing? Nothing. And I think they have a more than reasonably good chance to win. And look, I'm rooting for an LSU Shreveport Loyola final.
Oh,
I
me
don't know if
too.
they can.
Me
I
too.
mean, I don't know if it can. I think it can happen. I don't remember where Loyola is in the bracket. I don't have the bracket pulled up, but that would be absolutely crazy good if those two can play for the Natty. And I would sit back and watch.
I
And
would assume they're not in the same bracket because
I don't
Coach
think so.
Neffendorf said it'd be awesome. So with his answer,
So
I'm assuming they're not in the same bracket.
right, because they're going to come out the other side. You know, Loyola's got a tough road, being it's their first time here.
Yeah.
So let's see how they handle the adjustment of playing in a tournament that's going to determine the national champion. You know, a teams that never been there like a Loyola, and you got to give Jeremy Kennedy a big call.
Oh yeah.
Consider where they were before he got there.
Yes.
They have made 6 straight national tournaments, and now they have broken through to get to the World Series. And VK, going back to LSU Shreveport, man, they are putting up crazy numbers. I want to see how they react against a different type of team in the team that they're going to play Grand Lake in round one on Friday. You know, small ball teams tend to give problems to teams that are expected to really pound the baseball. So we get to see what Grand Lake offers up. But I have every confidence that Coach Neverdorf is going to have his team ready to go, and they should be ready and I would fully think they get the win on Friday.
That'd be. I think it would be really good if they do get the win. And I'm taking a look at the bracket right now, and I have to give a little quick correction, George. You mentioned Grand Junction. No, this is Lewiston, Idaho. This is
Yeah.
where
Oh
the
Yeah.
wait,
tournament.
wrong league. Okay, my bad.
Yes, Lewiston, Idaho. This is where
Okay,
it's a whole different world right here.
so we going to Mars now. All right, I hear you.
Well, interesting in itself. You look at LSU Shreveport is the number one seed, and actually Loyola is on the other side of the bracket. They
As
are
we
the number.
suspected.
They are the number 8 seed. They will play the number
Okay,
3 seed Tennessee Wesleyan. Both games will be on Friday.
Yeah.
LSU Shreveport plays Grandview at 11. Well, it'll be 9:30 our
9:30
time.
here.
Remember, it's West Coast time. So it's 11:30 West Coast time, 9:30 our time.
No, flip it. Flip it. Ain't no way. Flip it. It
Huh?
got
we're
to be
2 hours
11:30
ahead
our
of them,
time and
not
9:30 their
behind.
time.
Huh? Wait.
It
No,
has to
no.
be 11:30 our time,
Get your times
9:30
right,
their
sir.
time. You're getting your time zones messed up.
Flip it.
I'm
You
I'm
gotta
flip,
flip it.
I'm flipping it. I am flipping. I'm making sure this is in front of me. Is this the
We
They're
can't be
posting
behind the
you the
West Coast
Pacific. They're
time.
posting you the Pacific Coast time. They're
It
not
gotta be,
yeah?
yeah.
posting Central.
It gotta
Oh,
be.
that's what I'm saying. This all games are Pacific, and like I said, it's
So
11:30.
add 2 hours to that time,
What?
and that's the
Wait, wait,
time
wait,
we're
hold
gonna
on,
get
hold on.
it.
That's what I just said. I said 11:30 their time, 9:30 our time.
Oh God. Oh my God.
What you mean?
Okay, that's St.
Wait.
Oh
Aug
my
math.
God. See,
No,
I told you about
hold on, hold on.
that St. Our
No,
education in that math. He
hold on.
can't math. I told
That's
y'all.
that Common Core math, though, JB. That's that Common Core
I
math.
know how to math. I'm correct. Wait a minute. I said, look, did I just say on the schedule? On this schedule, it says all times are Pacific.
We
This
we
is
heard that.
11:30, 11:30 West Coast, 9:30 our time. This is Central Time, right? You gotta go take it away. So it's
Oh,
2
JB, you
hours.
can have this,
oh
bro.
my God. He
Wait,
don't know.
wait,
He don't know time zone difference. He
Nah,
don't know time
nah,
zone difference.
Hold on, hold on, hold
man.
Oh my
on,
God.
hold on, hold on. I had to correct myself. I'm sorry. I'm
As
sorry.
you
I'm
should.
sorry.
I told you this is
Well,
I'm
St. Aug
sorry.
education.
Look,
I'll
look,
say no more.
I told you
look.
about math and VK, man. It just don't work sometimes,
Wait,
bro.
wait, wait, wait. All I know, you're right.
1:30
There we go, VK.
our time. 1:30 our time.
Oh wait,
And
one. I do have one question. Where can we catch these games?
Yes, yes. Good question.
well, go. I would go to the. I would go to the LSU Shreveport website and the Loyola website, and click on the live stream on the game. Hopefully, it's free. So I would click on there to their live stream, the whatever live stream that they have to have the game live. Hopefully, it'll be free.
Gotcha.
So it'll
All
be
right.
live and everything. But Loyola, Texas Wesleyan will be 3 p.m. West Coast, 5 p.m. our time. I would like to apologize, and at the same time,
All good, bro.
some people might be
Get it in?
thinking that this crew thinks I'm not good at math, which I don't really care because
I
who's the other one
mean,
of the three has a bachelor's degree?
oh, now he's talking. Oh,
I
he's
muted him.
talking. He's
I
talking
muted
noise
him.
on his
I muted
JB,
him. I muted him, bro. I
as you
muted.
should have,
I muted him.
as you should, CEO.
You back, bro.
That
You
man.
back.
Hmm.
You back.
Uh, Hold on a second.
Oh
See,
man.
Got him.
you wrong for that. You trying to mute me. All I
I know.
know,
Oh, trust me. I am wrong for that. I am, bro. I am. I know, and I
yeah,
will take it
because
to the grave. I take it to my
He's
grave.
yeah,
silly.
you gonna take it in. Yeah,
Wow.
like I said, Austin Tyler knows this. Everybody knows this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave it that. You know what I'm saying? You might be
Oh
better than
damn.
me, Matt. But just whatever, bro. I got that big old.
What?
Oh, you muted him again? Damn, that's cold.
I'm gonna
BK
stop using my.
strikes again.
I'm
You
gonna
ain't
stop
never
using my
lying,
dog like
JB.
that. I'm gonna stop using my dog like that, man.
Man, you fronting that man hard, man.
Oh man, look. It's all in good fun. It's all in good
It
fun.
is. Hey,
It's all in good.
now if he comes
I ain't
out
gonna mute.
there and starts
I ain't gonna mute you no more, bro. I'm not gonna mute you no more. I promise. Let me unmute you right quick.
the
I ain't gonna mute
lies,
you no more.
See,
I promise.
the
see,
lies,
I would never thought to this day that you would stoop this low.
he did,
I,
and
I that
twice, twice.
that was my thing back in the day, and I had to stop. So
But
you
check
know
this
what
out.
I'm saying?
Check this out. I'm gonna tell you why I did it. I did it in memory of Around the Horn, whose last show is Friday on ESPN. Tony Reality had the mute button. So,
Yeah.
and that was a show I liked. The four sports
Mhm.
journalists.
Right.
Yeah. So, and their last
Now,
show is Friday. So,
now
in
I kind
memory of that.
cool. I can understand it. I kind
Yeah.
of took when I used to do it too, but I didn't get that from around the horn. I actually got it from JT the Brick. JT the Brick used to do that sometimes. Used to cut people's mics off sometimes and be like, "I don't want to hear your audio." Or sometimes if he gets aggravated, he is like, "Okay, cut his mic
Click.
off. Cut his mic off."
Yes,
So,
indeed. Nah, I ain't gonna do that.
nah.
All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and end this show. We're gonna be back Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Hopefully, we have some guests on. Might have Dax Norris on again if UNO wins. So we'll see.
Oh,
But other than
and catch UNO, and I'm sorry, interrupt. Houston Baptist UNO should be on
Houston Christian,
ESPN.
Houston
Houston
Christian.
Christian, thank you.
Yeah,
Houston Christian on ESPN Plus. Should be
yeah.
ESPN Plus this
I'd
week.
rather catch it on the ticket because my brother's calling a game for all
Oh,
three games.
also catching on the ticket. Thank you so much.
I got
You're
one better.
welcome, brother.
I got one better. Put the TV on ESPN Plus. Mute the TV, and then have the radio on the ticket
Emmanuel.
and listen to Emmanuel. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
My brother, my dog.
Yeah, we
Right?
ended like that. Um,
That's what's up.
Want to thank Dax Norris, the head coach of UNO Privateers baseball team, for joining us. We want to thank Coach um, Neffendorf, yes, Coach Brad Neffendorf of LSU Shreveport,
Oh,
for joining us. We tried to get Coach
Kennedy.
Jeremy
Kennedy.
Kennedy on, but we know they had some issues with the flight and everything. So hopefully we can get him on soon, man. That's a goal of ours to get him on. But we are back Tuesday and Wednesday right here on the Hash It Out Show, and I'm feeling a little bit better thanks to VK and his um,
Massing.
time zones in math. Yeah, thank you. It's a little bit better, but I'm making it. But back Tuesday and Wednesday, guys. Thank you all for watching the show. Go tell everybody you know, your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your aunties, your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, all your friends. Tell everybody know to watch the Hash It Out show. We're back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and end this show. For VK Jones, for George Peppers, I am JB the Sports Guy. Y'all take
Feeling
care.
drained from the constant noise in your daily life? Immerse yourself in pure audio bliss with drums. Experience a world of crystal clear sound, free from distractions. Discover the ultimate relaxation and escape into an oasis of serenity. Grab yours today. drumsworld.com.
If you're looking for the best pizza in Metro New Orleans, then you're in the right place. Moe's Pizza has a great selection of Italian food that can satisfy your appetite, and they can also cater to your needs in any event. Give them a call at 504-341-9650 or log on to www.moespizzanola.com, located at 1112 Avenue H in West Wego, Louisiana. Moe's Pizza, Italians do it better.
I'm Shayla.
Hi, my name is Micah Higgins, head boys basketball coach at Bonneville.
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out show. Please like,